Hi, my name is Mac. I'm a member of the Downtown Vibrancy Task Force and a resident downtown. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about vibrant streets. What is it about 104th, right in the heart of Edmonton's downtown, that makes it so much more vibrant than other streets? And what can we do as we build out the rest of the Capital City Downtown Plan to ensure that 104th is not the only vibrant street we have downtown?
When I think of 104th, this is what I think of. It's full of people, it's very vibrant, there's a lot of activity, and actually in this shot you can see there's not a car in sight. 104th Street downtown is vibrant because it's built for people. If you take away the people, you can start to see why the street is built so well for pedestrians. This sidewalk is really wide. There's a lot of room for pedestrians to walk in both directions. It's attractive. There's flower pots, there's decorative poles and lighting. The sides of the buildings are clean and friendly looking. There's trees along the street, and you can see the sidewalk blends nicely into the road. There's a nice sort of blend from the pedestrian realm into the car realm. This becomes really clear when you look at other streets downtown. This is 103rd Avenue behind City Center, and you can see that this street really looks like it was built for cars. There's a parkade on the right and a parking lot on the left. The sidewalk itself is very narrow, and it's very unattractive looking. Not far away on 102A Avenue, it's more attractive looking. There's some color there with the building with the side of City Center Mall, but you can see that this street is, again, doesn't really look like it was built for pedestrians. The sidewalk's a little bit wider, yes, but you've got a parking garage there, and you've got these pedways, so it kind of makes you feel as a pedestrian like you don't belong on the street, you belong up above. On 104th Street, cars aren't in charge, pedestrians are. You can see this car is parked here, and one of the nice things about 104th is it's got this buffer lane of parking, which is great because as a pedestrian you don't want to be right against the traffic that's moving back and forth, so the parked cars kind of give you a bit of safety between the sidewalk and the moving traffic on the street. The benches as well make you feel more at home on the sidewalk as a pedestrian. You know, I think even just the orientation of the benches makes a difference in terms of how you feel when you're on the street. They're not facing the cars and the traffic, they're facing other pedestrians. Now, potentially the most important reason that pedestrians feel safe and secure on 104th Street is no doubt due to the scale of the buildings. So 104th is one of only 3 heritage areas in the city of Edmonton. And a heritage area is a special character zone, and it's meant to ensure that new developments are pedestrian friendly and that historical resources are preserved, and that new form sort of matches the historical architectural feel of an area. And on 104th Street you can see that in the new Icon Towers. The towers themselves may be very tall, but the pedestals that they sit on are pedestrian scaled. They're not too intimidating. You don't feel like you're enclosed in a whole bunch of buildings. It's friendly. If you spend any time on 104th, you'll see people jaywalking throughout the day. And I think it's because they feel safe, because of the parking, because of the scale. All of those things help. Now, when we talk about feeling safe, we often wonder, what about at night? This picture you can see is Jasper Avenue at 104th Street in the evening, and you can see the lighting is really meant for cars. There's normal types of street lights that we see all over the place. They're very high, and you can see the road itself is illuminated very well, but the sides of the street where the sidewalk are actually quite dark. Now, if you compare that to 104th, you can see again why this street really is built for pedestrians. The street lights here are lower, and they illuminate the sidewalk very well. This is looking north on 104th, just south of Jasper. It's a long exposure shot. And you can see that cars have headlights. Pedestrians don't. So we don't need to illuminate the road quite as well for the vehicles as we do for the pedestrians. And I think this is another reason why people feel so safe on the street, even walking down it at night. Another thing I love about 104th is the transit. Now, buses don't stop right on the street, but they do run on the adjacent streets, on Jasper Avenue or 102nd. So you never have to go very far to get to the bus. And as you can see here, the Bay Enterprise Square LRT station exits right onto the street. And guess what transit brings to the street? People, not cars. And that's another reason why I think 104th is really vibrant. I think when you put all of these things together, the fact that you've got the transit there to bring people to the street, the scale works really well, you've got that buffer lane of parking, really wide sidewalks, all of those things make people feel safe on the street, and I think that contributes to this idea that 104th is more than just a street. It can really become a venue, and you get things like the KO Dance Project, for example, coming to 104th and using it as a stage. It's just wonderful. There's another street downtown similar to 104th in that it's got some of the right things in place for it to become a vibrant street, and that's Rice Howard Way. You can see that it's not very wide in terms of the amount of traffic. There's maybe one lane in either direction. It too has the buffer lane of parking. It's got excellent amenities for pedestrians in terms of benches and garbage cans. The sidewalks are nice and wide. It's got integrated transit, the central LRT station up at the one end, but it's not quite as vibrant as 104th. Part of the reason may be due to the lost restaurants in the Kelly Ramsey block that underwent the fire a couple of years ago. So Bistro Praha and Coco D are gone off the street, and that certainly had an impact on the amount of people that were on the street. But I think we have an opportunity here with this building being renovated to do something really great to help vibrancy come back to Rice Howard Way. Now, unfortunately, on Rice Howard Way, I think we're off to a poor start, really, with trying to get some vibrancy back onto that street. One of Edmonton's most popular new restaurants, Tres Carnales, is located right at the end there by Jasper Avenue, right near the LRT station. Would be perfect to have some vibrancy there, but it's not happening. It's not like Lit or Blue Plate Diner or Credo on 104th Street. And the reason is because they haven't been allowed to open up the patio there. So you've got a very narrow sidewalk and you've got a parking spot for a car. So cars kind of have the right of way here instead of pedestrians. If Tres Carnales was allowed to spill out onto the street, I think we'd see a lot more vibrancy. 104th Street is certainly one of Edmonton's most unique streets, and it will always remain so. It's a historical area, it's got excellent heritage features, none of that can be replicated elsewhere. But I do think we can take some of the things about 104th that make it such a vibrant place, and we can apply them to other streets downtown. Let's make sure that 104th isn't the only vibrant street Edmonton's downtown has.